That's great. This is a big crowd of people. This is nice. Thank you, Selma. We love to be in Selma, and we've had some great experiences here, and we've had a great victory here. Tremendous. I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of North Carolina with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. 7 months from now, the people of North Carolina are going to vote to fire the radical left Democrats. You're going to send the very great man. He's a great man. I've known him a long time. He's a tremendous person, Ted Budd, to the U.S. Senate. Thank you, Ted. You're going to elect an incredible slate of true America First Republicans. Up and down the ballot you will go, and together we are going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi.
Up and down the ballot you will go, to and fro, like a seesaw, up and down, hand in hand. What does that mean? Hey, everybody, I am your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams, coming to you live from Rusty Boy Studios. No, Rusty Bed Studios. Rusty Boy is sitting right beside me here. I'm up in Seattle, so let's sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the chat.
Pelosi's political career, once and for all. She is crazy.
No, it's not going to end Nancy Pelosi's political career if the Democrats lose in the midterms, because she will still be in office.
The stakes this November could not be higher. Biden and the congressional Democrats triggered runaway inflation, the supply chain disaster. How about that? You go to a store, you don't have anything on the shelves.
That happened because of Trump.
Whoever even heard of it? They declared war on American energy, and now the middle class is...
Anyone involved in business whatsoever heard of the supply chain before COVID.
Being crushed by the highest gas and food prices in the history of our country. Violent criminals are being set loose in Democrat-run cities to prey on innocent citizens. There's never been anything like
Happy birthday, Phil. More importantly than anything that the Orange Man is saying.
The crime that we're witnessing in the Democrat-run cities, while radical left judges persecute Republicans and hold political prisoners without trial. Our children are being indoctrinated. Our values are being desecrated. Our heritage is being obliterated. And our country is being humiliated by a president who has no idea.
It's not the Democrats who want to burn history books. It is not.
What the hell is going on? He has no idea what he's doing and no idea what he's saying, actually.
He has no idea what he's doing and no idea what he's saying. What's he saying?
Just have to look at what's happening. He has no idea what he's doing and
He has no idea what he's doing.
No idea
what's he saying?
He's saying, actually. Just have to look at what's happening. The simple fact is the presidential election was rigged and stolen, and because of that, our country is being systematically destroyed. We have a president who is challenged.
Wow.
But he's surrounded by vicious, evil, and very
He's like 2 rallies away from just saying the R word, just spitting it out.
Corrupt people who are doing whatever they want to in running our country to ruin. With your vote this November, we can stop our nation's decline. We can make America great again, and that's what we're going to do.
I thought it was about saving America. Listening to the pregame stuff, just after I got off the flight, I started listening to the RSBN broadcast, interviewing people. And America's done. It's already gone. The country's gone. It's been destroyed. There's no America anymore because borders and everything. And it's all Ukraine. It's all Biden.
Of all the many catastrophes Biden has unleashed, perhaps none is more horrendous than his ruthless abolition of America's borders. Remember the border? We had the strongest border in the history of our country a year and a half ago.
When COVID was rampant, no one was coming over the border. In 2019, record numbers were coming across the border. That was under Trump.
By the way, time is flying. You know, we used to say
It
4
is.
years, then 3 years. Now, the
Uh-huh.
other day, I heard him say 2.5 years. 2.5 years doesn't sound so bad. 4
It's not.
years sounded like a long time.
Yeah, it's still 3.5 years. No one said 2.5 years, sir.
The problem is, Mark, are we going to have a country left? 2.5 years is still long.
Go get
Because the
Trump.
destruction they've done in this
Go get
short
Trump, Rusty. Go
time
get
is
Trump.
unthinkable.
Trump.
With last week's announcement
No,
that
that's
the
monster.
Biden
Go get
administration will rescind the crucial Title 42 protections that I put into place to quickly remove illegal aliens. That's to remove the illegal aliens, and very, very quickly, and even the fake news knows that one was a good one. That's a lot of people back there. Welcome, 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 fake news, welcome. Biden is willfully opening the floodgates to a tidal wave of illegal immigration, the likes of which the world has never seen before. No country,
Well, 2019 under you.
no country has this ever happened to. He's deliberately inciting a mob of millions and millions of foreign nationals to illegally infiltrate America's borders, violate our laws, trample our sovereignty,
He is not inviting them. He's told them not to come.
and settle in our country. Frankly, it's an invasion. You can call it whatever you want, but this is an invasion, just like an army would invade another
Well, no, they're not coming in here with guns and killing a bunch of people. And there's plenty of people with guns already here killing other people.
country. Our nations are emptying out their prisons and sending drug dealers, murderers, rapists, and
Our nations are? Our nations are doing that?
nations are emptying out their would invade another country. Our nations are emptying out their prisons and
Yep, our nations. So the United States, I'm guessing he thinks Puerto Rico is another nation. So our nations are emptying out their prisons and sending them to our nations. All three Mexicos.
and sending drug dealers, murderers, rapists, and savage MS-13 gang members to victimize American citizens.
He is accurate there. MS-13 is from Los Angeles. So that is point one for Trump.
We will be paying a very big price for this calamity, mark my words, for a long period of time. What's coming into our country is going to leave a mark for many, many years and decades, probably.
Leave a mark.
Unfortunately, it's crazy. It's crazy. When you think of it, what the hell are we doing? It's crazy. And we had the strongest border ever, not even a contest. The Washington Democrats believe our country should be one giant sanctuary for dangerous criminal aliens. And the Republican Party, we believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans. We had the safest border, and now we have the worst border we've ever had. And I mean that no country, I don't care if it's a third world country, has ever had a worse border situation than us.
Well, no, there's been hundreds of situations where refugees have flooded from one country to another without giant border walls. That's happened throughout history, literally since countries began.
They wouldn't allow people to come in like this. They even want to give illegal aliens cell phones. Everybody gets a cell phone. Come on in.
If they're in the country, they're not illegal. They've been processed. They are sent around the country, or they're kept in Texas or wherever they come across the border. Once they've been given status, they're not illegal anymore. They have legal status, and they can have a cell phone. That way, you've got a much higher percentage of them showing up for their trial, where then we can determine exactly whether or not they have status to stay in the United States.
You all get cell phones. Meanwhile, Biden and the radical Democrats are spending.
It's like, honestly, how much does a cell phone cost nowadays? By the way, once they get a cell phone, then they can get a job. We have 11 million vacancies for employment here. Most of them are part of the small business system. Okay. Their small businesses cannot afford to hire people because there's so few employees willing to work. And there's so many people staying home taking care of elderly and their young ones because there's a shortage of healthcare workers. Consequently, you've got 11 million vacancies. We need people to fill those vacancies. The economy is churning along at 5.7%, the best economic growth since 1984. But we can't find employees to fill the positions. And without the employees, the companies get choked. And specifically small businesses. You got 500 people in a business, you're missing 1 or 2, 3, 4, 10 positions. That's fine. You can keep going. You can keep moving forward. But if you're a small business and you need 5 employees to run and you're down to 3, you're in trouble. And what are small businesses? They're the economic engine that runs this country.
Billions and billions of dollars trying to secure the borders of distant foreign nations, many nations that you've never even heard of before.
I'm sure I've heard of these nations.
I believe Americans deserve a president who will secure the borders of our nation, who will protect ours.
That's going to be their cry again. The caravans and the border. That's going to be the Republicans' cry come midterms. The inflation is sitting right out there for them, but that might turn around. Gas prices already starting to come down. You haven't noticed, but they are. They shot up so high after Ukraine that. And the trouble is, though, the Democrats won't seize on the message anyway. And not that it matters. I got off the plane today, and right there in Seattle, standing there waiting for a shuttle, was a guy with a Let's Go Brandon sweatshirt. Just right there. The lady who sat next to me on the plane flying out of San Jose, she's like, "Oh, Seattle." I said, "Yeah, it's so beautiful up there. I lived for 23. Oh, but it's not so beautiful anymore. What with all the homeless and stuff?" I said, "Do you watch a lot of Fox News?" I said, "It's fine. It's fine." Between here and the airport, which is, I don't know, 17 miles, I didn't encounter any homeless people. I managed to make it. Mark me safe on Facebook.
Citizens who will defend our sovereignty and who will stop the invasion of our country right now. What's happening is unthinkable. After we win this November, Republicans should immediately vote to remove Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security. Who doesn't have a clue, from office for his blatant acts of sabotage against the laws of the United States. And then we should continue to work hard until
he hasn't done anything, and they won't let Trump say his name because Trump can't say his name. It's too complicated.
The borders are again sealed. And we want people to come into our country, but we want them to come into our country legally. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our country in just 15 months. As everyone...
What are you talking about? I thought there was only 2.5 years left. Something's not adding up here.
Everyone is saying Russia's outrageous invasion of Ukraine would never have happened, and I mean it would never have happened.
He's the one saying that, not people.
If I was in the White House, and not even a chance, would have never happened. Every time I look at those scenes on television and the scenes that you see in your papers, every time I look, I get sick to think about it, because all of those people that are dying and all of those people that are dead have been killed, savagely killed, horribly killed. They would be alive today. They wouldn't even be thinking about it. That would have never happened. Under our administration, America was strong and America was respected because you had a president who always put America first.
I don't know how anyone can listen to this and not connect the fact that he just complained about America worrying about other countries' borders, and that border in Ukraine would not have been breached because he would put America first and not worry about the borders in other countries.
By the way, we have a group of incredible women, incredible patriots. I think they've come. How many rallies have you been to? How many? Tell me the number. They
Who
don't want to
cares?
say because their husbands may be watching.
Oh.
What is it, like 78 or something? The nice part is they live here. This time they live there. So they live in North Carolina, but they've been traveling, and they do a lot of them. And we love to have you. Thank you. So easily recognizable. They're all so perfect. I mean, I've never seen anything so beautiful. Thank you very much for traveling. Thank you.
Melania?
The radical left Democrats put America last. That's what they do. They put America last. And all you have to do is look at what they're doing.
Okay.
And that's where they want to keep us. They want to keep us last. You would never think that, but after watching what they do and the craziness, I think it's probably true.
So the infrastructure, that means what?
The Biden administration has been one disgraceful surrender after another, starting with the catastrophic way in which we withdrew from Afghanistan. Was that the lowest point in our history?
No, we had slavery for 200 years, so not even close.
With dead and horribly wounded soldiers leaving American citizens as hostages, surrendering Bagram Air Base to China. China has it.
No.
We were going to keep it. It cost billions and billions of dollars to build many years ago, 1 hour away from
Oh, there's Phil. Happy birthday, Phil.
where China makes their nuclear weapons, and we gave it away.
What?
And, of course, giving away, famously, $85 billion worth of the finest
Famously.
military equipment in the world. We gave it to the Taliban.
He's got such a limited vocabulary.
700,000 rifles, machine guns, guns of all, 700,000. Listen to this one, though. 70,000 trucks, 70,000. Is there a car company in the country that has 70,000 cars, trucks? What do you think,
Yes, many of them. In fact, all of them.
Ted?
Even Tesla has more than 70,000 vehicles out on the road.
I don't think so, right? I don't think so. 70,000. And
Really? You don't think that a car company in the United States... Car companies put out millions of cars every single year, even during supply chain crisis. You know, that thing you'd never heard of before Biden.
many of them armor-plated, costing millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
An armored-plated car does not cost millions of dollars.
Now Biden is continuing his surrender parade, begging Iran to re-enter the disastrous nuclear deal that I terminated very proudly and very powerfully.
Stupidly, powerfully.
Had the election not been rigged, we would have had a deal with Iran within 1 week from the election.
And for some reason, he just couldn't make that deal before the election. The election he guaranteed to win against the worst candidate in history, or you would never hear from him again. That was a promise.
And now Iran is becoming rich again because China's buying and they're all buying. And we've driven the price of oil up so high, the highest in the history of oil. And it's
Not
a
true.
disgrace. They're pleading also with the Venezuelan dictator to sell us oil. Think of that one. So they want oil from Venezuela now when we have it right under our feet. It's called liquid gold. We're sitting on liquid gold, and we're going to buy it from Venezuela and other countries, and we have it under our feet. Remember, energy independent, we had so much, we would have been double the size of Russia and Saudi Arabia put together within 1 year. It's a far cry from the Trump administration when we were totally energy independent and
Nope.
gasoline was costing less than $2 a gallon.
In some places, yes.
Remember those days of a year and a half ago, $1.87 a gallon for a car. Now, you know what everyone is saying? Let's buy a smaller car, darling. We don't like this big car anymore. We don't want a truck. We want a tiny little car, as little as it can be. Long before
It's actually not a bad plan.
Ukraine, Biden sent gas prices soaring with the fringe left-wing energy policies inspired by the socialist joke known as the Green New Deal. Windmills. Windmills.
No windmills. They're wind turbines. They're not windmills. They're not milling anything.
We want windmills all over the place. I don't see any windmills here.
Because there are no windmills in the Green New Deal. They are wind turbines, different thing.
I don't see these towers that are holding up the lights. Those towers are tiny compared to the windmills.
Okay.
If you're near a windmill and you have a house, your house is like pretty much worthless. Kills all the birds, ruins your landscapes, and it's the most expensive form of energy there is.
It
If
is not.
Biden wanted to, he could lower gas prices tomorrow. All he has to do is come out and publicly admit that his anti-American energy policies were 100% wrong, and the pro-American energy policies of a certain president that you liked a lot, President Donald J. Trump, were 100%.
That is complete nonsense. There was nothing that Biden could say in that regard that would suddenly bring energy prices down. That is complete nonsense.
Right.
The kind of thing where he's talking where a president can affect the price of oil just by coming out and saying something like that, that would be socialism. Biden came out and said, hey, oil companies, start pumping the oil that you already have access to. You need to get production up. Oil companies. That's what Biden said. Use those leases or lose those leases. Use them or lose them. That's the current policy of the Biden administration.
You're 100% right. 100%. They're going to be very famous. They're going to be very famous tonight.
No, none of the people who ever stand behind Trump except green shirt guy. No, not green. Was it green shirt guy that was making fun of Trump as he was talking? He got famous. And then, of course, blacks for Trump that are insane racists. They're famous, too.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they're doing the We Love Trump already. Okay. Plaid shirt guy. Green shirt guy is the one that's laughing in the chair, like at the DMV when there's a Karen there or something. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's beautiful.
He doesn't even care anymore. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It's like when your 3-year-old makes you something and hands it to you. Okay, thank you. Your 7-year-old comes home with an ashtray from school. I don't smoke, but thank you. It's beautiful.
Great state. It's been a great state. It's a slogan you're hearing more and more across the country, and it is true.
What?
And it's not about me, it's about us, because we all like it. You know what it is? It's really common sense. Somebody said, are you conservative? Somebody actually said, are you liberal? No, I'm not liberal.
Never has names, just somebody.
But it's not even a question of being conservative. You know what it is? It's common sense. It's like, we want a strong military. We want a good education. We want a beautiful home for as little as possible. We want so many things. We want a strong military. We love our law enforcement. We're not going to defund them. We're going to give them much more. We love our law enforcement. We want voter ID. When you walk in, people want to see, what does he look like? The choice this November is very simple. If you want high crime, high prices, high taxes, high corruption, and high incompetence, vote for the radical Democrats. If you want a country that is strong, sovereign, solvent, safe, and secure, you really have to vote for America First Republicans. It's common sense. So we're joined this evening, and this is a beautiful evening. You know, we were in South Carolina a few weeks ago, and what a great place, but it was cold, right? It was cold. We had, I think, the coldest night ever on record.
Not true.
We had a hell of a crowd, too. We had a tremendous crowd, and we...
Why has he got to make up records about the cold? Why? Why lie about the weather?
We were in Texas. It was beautiful. 87,000 people. I broke Elvis Presley's record. I was...
There was not 80. Did he say 87,000? I don't know. I was throwing the Trump ball for Rusty.
I broke Elvis Presley. We were in Texas. It was beautiful. 87,000 people. I broke Elvis Presley's record.
No, not even close at any of his rallies. Nowhere near 87,000 people.
That was good. And I didn't have a guitar. He had a guitar. I did have a guitar. He had a guitar and a very good voice. We're joined this evening by some of the incredible patriots who are going to send the Democrat extremists out of Washington in disgrace. In particular, with us tonight is the man who is going to help end Chuck Schumer's brief and failed tenure as Senate Majority Leader and take back the U.S. Senate, your next senator from the great state of North Carolina, Ted Budd. Ted, thank you. Ted, come up here, Ted. And Eric, they're great.
Did you not go up there? I don't care. We'll skip through the introductions. Those are always boring.
Crowd that's here today. This is an incredible group of people, great patriots, and you love our country, and we love Ted for doing this. Takes a lot of courage to do it. You about the result? That's a big lead. 17-point lead. Oops, I thought. That's a big lead. That's a big lead. Now, I saw one where he's 10 points, one where he's 12 points, and one where he's 17 points up over the bathroom governor. You know, the bathroom governor. Remember the bathroom governor? What a mess that was. But Ted is a fantastic man, and he'll defend your borders. He will be tough as hell on
He'll defend your border with South Carolina.
Crime. He will protect our Constitution by voting only for judges who will interpret the laws as written. And as a gun store owner, or maybe I'll see him, I want to buy a gun. Ted will never let them take away, ever, your under siege Second Amendment. Ted, please say a few words. Ted.
We'll skip Ted.
Mr. President, I think that I can speak for all of us in North Carolina tonight when we say we are glad to have.
You're a senator representing a state. It's so powerful. It's so important.
I think we caught up with real time. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you, David, very much. Great guy. He's a fighter, that guy. I used to fight against him. It wasn't pleasant. We decided, let's get together. And a man that nobody's ever heard of because he's very shy on television, hates putting out television commercials. He's the greatest buyer of television ads in history.
Mike Pillow.
Mike Lindell. Mike. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you very much. From the border nightmare to the inflation nightmare, from the energy crisis to the violent crime crisis, and from the Afghanistan disaster to the Ukraine disaster, everything we're seeing is a consequence of this horrible, horrible election. It was rigged, it was stolen, it was a disgrace. But don't lose hope, because with the right leadership, America will be back greater, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. The truth is, I ran twice, I won twice. I did much better the second time than I did the first.
He's run 3 times, lost the first time, won the second time, lost the third time.
And now we may have to do it again. Is there anybody here who would like to see me run again?
I would.
Put that here, I'll remember.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. Build back better.
Thank you. I'll remember that. I'm going to remember that. Time is moving along. Over our 4 incredible years, we accomplished.
Yes, he'll remember that. Time is moving along. He is correct.
More than any administration in the history of our country, and in so many different ways.
What?
We passed the largest tax cuts and reforms in American history.
That is a lie.
We cut a record number of job-killing regulations. In addition to energy independence and cheap gasoline, we approved the Keystone XL pipeline, which they immediately ended, and we got built.
Yeah, he approved the XL pipeline, but he did it in such a manner that he completely ignored the law, and then his approval back in 2017 was struck down by judges saying, this is nonsense. You can't just approve it because you're the president. You don't have that type of power. But I have all the authority because a president can do anything he wants.
The Dakota Access Pipeline.
The pipeline would be done. If he had done things properly back in 2017, the Keystone XL pipeline would likely have been done by the end of his administration. But he screwed it up like he did everything else. You talk about incompetence.
And these are big ones, and opened ANWR for energy development. And by the way, we ended the Russian pipeline. You do know that, right?
No,
unfortunately,
you didn't end it.
This group came in and they immediately approved it. And then they say, Trump treated Russia so nicely. I don't think so. We appointed nearly 300 federal judges to defend our Constitution. That's a tremendous number, like people have not even thought possible.
What?
And has made a tremendous difference in the courts. We confirmed 3 incredible Supreme Court justices. We eliminated the founder and leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, and we terminated.
So did Biden.
The world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. We invested nearly $2.5 trillion in new fighter jets, aircraft carriers, tanks, and missiles for our military, and we created the first.
Biden's budget has record numbers for the military, more than Trump.
First new branch of the United States Armed Forces in over 75 years since the Air Force. It's called the Space Force. Very important. And to take
that he did do. It's just the same people who were in the Air Force are now part of Space Force. It's just bifurcating this anyway.
Care of our amazing veterans. We passed VA accountability.
Obama did that in 2014.
Oh.
It's a train, sir. They're going to think that the train is blowing its whistle because Trump is there. Because trains never blow their whistle.
You see that? That conductor is a Trump fan.
Okay, skip ahead.
He is a fan. There's no doubt about it. He's still hunking that sucker, I'll tell you. Isn't that a beautiful sound? To me, it's a beautiful sound. But we passed for the vets. VA accountability and VA choice. They've been trying to get that to pass for 55 years.
And they did.
Think of it. VA accountability, VA choice.
Right.
We passed right to try. You know what right to try is? We created peace. Look at that. He's still hunking that hard. We love that guy. Man.
Yeah, it's a train. They didn't invent the horns just for you, sir. They're whistles. Oh, Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Okay, you can call them horns too.
And look at that train. That's the longest train I've ever seen.
Nobody's seen any trains like that. It was a train like you wouldn't believe. The length of that train is unthinkable.
It may never stop, but he's happy. He's going to go home and he's going to tell his wife, baby, we saw Trump and we saw Ted Budd.
Might be a female.
And I hunked the hell out of that train. we love those guys. Ted.
I hunked the hell out of that train.
We created peace in the Middle East with historic.
He is the word meister.
And you know what the Abraham Accords are? We created peace. We would have had them all signed up very quickly. And we fought.
But you didn't.
For fair and reciprocal trade for workers of North Carolina. You know, you're doing better than you've ever done.
Thank you, Biden.
I withdrew from the terrible Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have destroyed your automobile industry and many other industries. We ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, Mexico and Canada, the best trade deal our country's ever made. In fact, it's so good that Mexico and Canada want to renegotiate the deal, and they're starting a renegotiation now. And I say to the Biden administration, don't do it, because that was a horrible deal, NAFTA, for many, many years. We had to live with it. We have a great deal now. Don't change it. We created 500,000 new manufacturing jobs in my first year. They said this, it will never happen. Manufacturing is dead. Remember they said.
Remember how you put manufacturing into a contraction before COVID? Yeah. In November 2019, because of Trump's tariffs on steel, etc., and so many things coming out of China, manufacturing in the United States went into contraction.
Said Barack Hussein Obama, he said, manufacturing is dead in our country. I said,
he never said that.
How the hell is that possible? And we created tremendous manufacturing jobs. To be a strong nation, America must be a manufacturing nation. We cannot be reliant on China or any other foreign country. I proudly, and we really did.
I proudly did too. That's what my dad says. Oh, Daddy Powed. Anytime we say something, he says, oh, well, Daddy Powed. And that's become kind of a family thing. So when my daughter does something, I'll say, ooh, Kevin Powed. I proudly.
Or any other foreign country. I proudly, and we really did, we all as a group, we proudly stood up to China's plunder and pillaging of American jobs.
I proudly stood up to China's plunder and pillage.
In industries like no precedent in history. We charged China hundreds of billions of dollars.
Now it's hundreds of billions. No. And nobody had ever charged them 10 cents.
When no other president charged them 10 cents. Not 10
yeah.
cents.
Yeah.
In many, many decades.
Okay.
And they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. Do you think they like me? I don't think so. And we used those billions of dollars to help our great patriot farmers and manufacturers.
They did not. He made deals with the Chinese to try and get them to buy more soybeans. Excuse me, and the Chinese ended up buying about 5% of what they said they would.
Is getting them the largest.
It's probably about 10% by now.
Agriculture.
I'm always fair.
Purchase orders ever in the history of our country from China. We fought for North Carolina and we won for North Carolina. And when Republicans retake Congress, we will fight and win for North Carolina once again.
Yay.
One of the first things that we will do with our new Republican majorities is to end every last COVID mandate. They're still around, if you can believe it. They're still around. So
all of those mandates that I created, all the businesses I shut down that are all open now, all of the schools my people shut down, they're all open now.
And we will pass a bill making it illegal for any employer to interfere in personal health decisions or to fire employees for not having the vaccine. In addition,
I will pass more restrictions on business than anyone has ever seen.
A Republican majority must investigate the collusion between Democrat Party politicians and the teachers' unions to keep our children out of school for no scientific reason whatsoever.
The kids are back in school. It was under your administration that we shut down the schools, remember?
However, the irreversible harm that Democrat politicians did to our young...
It was you, sir. It was under you. Remember? 15 days that turned into 45 days? That was you. That was 2020. Biden was not president in 2020.
People is unforgivable.
I don't forgive you.
And American voters will punish them.
They did. They punished you, sir.
At the ballot box this November. Despite all you're hearing and seeing of China and Russia and Iran and others, our biggest danger is not from outside coming in. Our biggest single danger is from the sick and radical politicians that are knowingly or unknowingly wanting to destroy our country.
Well, which is it? It's kind of a big distinction there between knowingly and unknowingly, but okay.
Our biggest danger is from within. I believe that.
Yes, that's exactly what Mayorkas said. You remember the guy whose name you couldn't say that you want immediately discharged and brought up on charges of treason? That guy? That's what he said. The biggest threat to the United States is domestic terrorism, specifically white power.
As president, I was proud to sign the world's first ban.
Remember, from the villages in Florida, there was a stream of golf carts going by, and a guy yelled at the camera, "White power, white power, white power." And Trump retweeted it.
On critical race theory,
not a thing.
The Biden administration rescinded that order, but when we retake Congress, Republicans will ban the critical race theory in our schools, ban it in our military, ban...
They can't. Joe Biden will still be president. They cannot do what Trump is saying they're going to do.
Ban it in every part of federal, state, and local governments.
They can't do it.
Just like I did. It was fully banned before. In addition, a Republican Congress must stand up for parental rights and parental choice. I think that's a good idea. No teacher should ever be
parental choice. That sure sounds like abortion to me, but okay.
Be allowed to teach far-left gender theories to our children without parental consent. It's truly child...
So Caitlyn Jenner is far left. Okay, moving on.
Abuse, plain and simple. By replacing reading and math with pronouns and gender studies, our government-run...
Nobody's replacing reading and math.
An education system has forfeited the trust of American parents, and they really have. Every mom and dad in America must be given the right to opt out of the indoctrination and send their child to the public, private, charter, or religious school of their choice. Have to do it.
So giving public tax money to these other schools is what he's advocating, which is what he's advocated since 2016. He promised in 2016 that America was going to have school choice. It does not. Another failure.
Last week, the Biden administration sent Congress a budget crammed with billions and billions of dollars of transgenderism and so-called equity provisions that are nothing more than government-sponsored racism. The Republican Congress will end the woke war on women and children. We will stop illegal government discrimination.
What woke war on women?
We will restore the sacred American principle of equality under the law. And we will, while we're at it, demand justice for the January 6th prisoners and full protection of their civil rights, like was received by Antifa and Black Lives Matter, who murdered people throughout our country.
Right, Kim.
And as you probably have heard, one of the first January 6 trials ended in an extortion, and it was a horrible thing what they were doing.
Ended in an extortion? He's probably trying to talk about the trial of the Michigan group that were plotting to kill the governor of Michigan.
Doing to people, but there was exoneration because they effectively proved that he got waved into the Capitol by the police.
Okay, so he's talking about the January 6th trial, but there's no exoneration.
Remember this, Nancy Pelosi was in charge of the Capitol. You know that?
No, she was not.
Right?
No.
And
she's Speaker of the House. She's not in charge of Capitol Hill security.
Mayor of D.C., they were in charge of all security.
No, the mayor of D.C. is not in charge of security at the Capitol. The mayor of D.C. literally has no command over the federal land within the Capitol. It's a district That's why it was set up this way, so that the mayor has no power.
In the Capitol. Remember also that they were offered 3 days before, on January 3rd, 10,000 soldiers or National Guard.
They were not. That was talked about apparently in a meeting, and no offer was made. And you could make that offer to Nancy Pelosi. She can't say yes or no. It's not her purview.
To protect the Capitol, they turned it down. If they would have accepted that, they're in charge of it. And we offered it. If they would have accepted that, there would have been no January 6th.
No, they weren't offered. He's just making this up. It's nonsense.
As we know it. And in the quite famous Michigan trial, where people were supposedly going to kidnap the very unpopular governor, and it sounded very strange to a lot of people, 2 were just found not guilty and 2 others ended in a hung jury. So there's something going on down there.
That's correct.
There's something going on. The radical Democrat Party will do anything to stop our movement, no matter how illegal.
That's weird that he's not keying in on that, because that is an open wound.
Immoral or insane. Now in New York State, as an example, the extreme left is continuing the greatest witch hunt. It's the greatest witch hunt of all time.
I thought that was the Mueller report.
Have you been hearing about this?
Is it about you, sir?
Failed New York State gubernatorial candidate Letitia James, who recently ran for governor and had to give up because she had no support. She got almost no poll numbers. Her party said, get the hell out. Is no longer working as the Attorney General. She went back into the Attorney General's office as a political operative for the Democrat Party, engaged in a political persecution and abusing her powers for her own personal gain. It's prosecutorial misconduct. And it began the second I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady. That beautiful escalator in Trump Tower. And it's continued ever since in an attempt to silence a president who is leading in every single poll by a lot. Never before has this happened to another president, and it is truly an absolute violation of civil rights, in my opinion, and your civil rights, too.
Oh, yeah.
I've been investigated by the Democrats more than Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and Al Capone combined. And in all cases, I've been innocent. We have a great sheriff right here. Where's the sheriff right?
The reason he's complaining about that, it's an ongoing investigation. And the judge in the civil trial in New York ordered the Trump family, all of them, to comply and produce the documents. And they just flat out have denied any access to the documents that are being asked for, which they're not allowed to do, especially after a judge orders you to comply. So now they've appealed this and appealed that. And they're saying, we don't have the documents. Maybe the Trump organization has the documents, and the Trump organization is going to inundate them with documents. It's just a stall tactic. That's all.
I stand up, Sheriff.
And the question is, though, why hasn't someone arrested him yet? Come on, people. It makes me, I mean, I can't, if I install a dryer plug in my house, I'm going to jail if I don't have a permit. But he can literally try and overthrow the country. Defraud people out of millions of dollars for years. I wish that, for example, states hadn't settled with him for Trump University. He paid a $25 million fine. 25? No. Pursue that. Go for the maximum. Somebody take the case as far as it goes. He is a recidivist. It will be case after case after case after case of him screwing the American people. Someone's got to put a stop to it.
We ought to send the sheriff into New York. Clean things up, Sheriff.
Sheriff has no power in New York, but okay.
But, you know, there's never been anything like it. It just never stops. A friend of mine, smart guy, very successful guy, a lot of
who will remain nameless because he doesn't have any friends.
Common sense. He said, you know, you've been investigated for years and years, millions and millions of pages of documents. They found nothing. You are the cleanest guy on earth.
Well, then the cleanest girl on earth must be Hillary, because they've been investigating her for 45 years and have found nothing.
When you think about it, I've got to be the cleanest sheriff. I think I'm the most honest human being.
Nope, that would be Hillary. I mean, according to this logic.
Perhaps that God ever created. Perhaps. Instead of persecuting Republicans, these rogue Democrat prosecutors should stop the
I'm bored of this.
crime and
I mean, all of it. All of this Trump nonsense. It's boring. Says the same thing every rally. Used to be every once in a while he'd come up with something new. He's not even paying attention to the news so much.
the bloodshed that is raging uncontrollably in Democrat-run cities and states. And New York, Letitia James, New York has got disastrous numbers, up a record amount, 50% more. Number one for going up. So Letitia James should be focusing on New York, not focusing on let's get Trump and let's vote all the time. Let's get Trump. We've only been doing this for years, with record murders, surging violence, and drug trafficking at the highest level we've
I hate drug trafficking. It does not make me proud to say that.
ever had. The witch hunts have to end. The depravity and corruption of our left-wing political establishment cannot be overstated. Just this week, Special Counsel John Durham outlined in court filings the, quote, joint venture or conspiracy.
IDK, nobody stole an election. 50 Republican, or 50 secretaries of state, 29 of them Republican, 50 governors, and 27 of them Republican, all certified the election. It wasn't stolen. It's all nonsense.
By Democrat operatives and officials to perpetrate.
I watched some of the pre-show, and a lot of the Republicans, the Trump fans, it's not even fair to Republicans to call them Republicans anymore. A lot of the Trump Republicans were saying that the election's going to be decertified after the midterms. That's not a thing. There is no mechanism in American law for decertifying an election. It doesn't exist. It's impossible. It's not in the Constitution. But they fully believe that somehow Americans are going to be elected into the House and then they will decertify. What the hell does that even mean? It's been certified.
The Russia hoax, Russia, remember? Whatever happened to that one? And then guys like the watermelon head, Schiff, he goes back. And then he goes, Ukraine. That turned out to be another hoax. Remember that?
No, you were impeached for it.
He had a terrible call. I will tell you, the president of Ukraine, they asked him about it.
You can say his name.
He said the president did nothing wrong. And I knew, he said he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't say that.
Wasn't it great that we had the call essentially taped? Wasn't that wonderful? Did they?
Well, then you should release the tape.
They die when they heard we had the call taped?
It wasn't taped. It had a transcript. But if you want to release the tape, I do encourage you to do that.
I would have had a problem because these people are horrible liars. Shifty Schiff gets up to a microphone. This is a terrible thing for our country. I called to congratulate him on a victory. I never met the gentleman, but you know what? He's standing up tall now, and I liked him then because he had courage, and he said, we did nothing wrong. I think they thought that these people were crazy, actually. On a similar basis, massive conspiracy to hide the truth.
IDK, nobody banned you. I can see you, so you haven't been banned.
About Joe and Hunter Biden's corruption is being fully exposed. And with your vote this November, the rigged system.
Who thinks they're banned? Well, they can still type. That's not the way it works. If you're banned from something, it won't let you type stuff. It won't show up. But not only is it showing up in the YouTube chat, it's being brought in and shown here on my chat as well, which pulls in from all the platforms that we're broadcasting on right now. So, dude, no one has, well, might be a lady, I don't know. Usually it's the dudes that are dumb enough to say something like that. No offense, except obviously you don't know what band is.
Really can come down to a crashing halt. We got to stop it. They got to stop the political persecutions in this country. We spend so much.
The last 15 minutes has just been solely about how Trump is being treated so unfairly.
Time now on the environment. The environmental alarmists, everything. The country is going to be gone. We have a guy threatening nuclear weapons every day in Russia, and they're talking about in 300 years our ocean's going to be 1/100th of an inch higher. 300 years from now. We have to
No, they're already experiencing coastal erosion in North Carolina, where you are, sir.
immediately clean up our factories because we have to clean up our air. What they don't say is that Chinese air, the China air is so dirty. Russia air is so dirty. India is so dirty. Japan, very dirty. Not a little bit better, very dirty. That air goes up and then it blows into the United States. Okay, what are they going to do about that? But none of this will matter.
Right, it's a worldwide issue. Thank you for pointing that out, sir.
If we don't do one thing, restore integrity to our elections.
That's not going to help climate change.
Have to do it. At the federal, state, and local level, Republicans must act to ensure universal voter ID. You know, it's interesting. In the Democrat convention, they had it in Milwaukee, and I saw people, they're walking in, they had signs like posters on their chest with their picture.
Posters on their chest with a picture? Does he mean a T-shirt?
All sorts of identification, but they don't want that to vote.
What?
The only reason they don't want voter ID...
No. The Democrats have no problem with voter ID. That is not the way it works. It's when people don't have the ID that's being asked for because it's been specifically excluded in many states, or they happen to be old and don't have a form of voter ID, then they can sign an affidavit. That's all that were the House bills that we're talking about. The Voter Rights Act, the new Voting Rights Act, that's all it says. You can have voter ID in your state, but if somebody shows up and says, no, this is me and my driver's license expired or whatever it is, I'm a citizen. I have the right to vote. I will fill out an affidavit. Look up that affidavit. I'll sign it. You'll know who I am. I will fill out a special provisional ballot. You can certify that ballot. You will know that it's me. And if I'm lying about it, I will spend 2 to 5 years in jail. You know who lies on those affidavits? Nobody. That system is already in place in states across the nation.
Is because they're cheaters. They cheat. There's no other reason. It's like a 94% issue. Even in the Democrats want voter ID.
Yeah, the Democrats want voter ID. It's in the bill. It's fine.
The only one that doesn't are the Democrat politicians. You see?
No, the Democrats politicians put it in the bill. It's in there.
I happen to think
just these idiots don't bother reading anything. They don't even listen to the other side.
That bad oil and high prices, and if you look at people that are against the Second Amendment, you can't have guns to protect yourself, against God, against so much sanctuary.
Why do we need to protect ourselves with guns against God? If God wants to smite us, guns are not going to help.
Cities, they want sanctuary cities. They want high taxes. They want to double and triple your taxes. I happen to think
the Democrats do not want to double and triple the taxes of anyone standing in that audience. But Rick Scott, Republican former governor, now senator from Florida, wants to tax every single person in that audience. Even if they don't make enough money to tax, he wants to tax everyone.
I think that they don't really have a 50-50 party with the Republicans. I think they do because they cheat like hell. Because there's no way. You go to Texas, they're against God, against guns, and against oil. And then I hear, oh, it's going to be close. Well, actually, we won a landslide, okay? But
it wasn't a landslide, but you did win.
You know, they say it's going to be close. You know why they said it's going to be close? Because if they can find enough votes, millions of votes, if they can find it, the people won't be so shocked if they can pull it out. No, I just think that we have to clean it up, and I think Ted Budd is going to do a lot in that regard. I think it's one of his big issues.
Okay.
Because if we don't have clean elections, and if we don't have strong borders, we do not have a country.
We do, one way or the other. It's still a country.
We don't have a country.
In fact, it's 50 countries. Kind of impressive.
Country. We also have to look at citizenship confirmation. No more drop boxes, the fake drop boxes.
Drop boxes are fine.
100% of the votes to Biden and nothing to Trump.
I've always either voted by drop box or in primaries I've gone in sometimes. But the rest of my life, I've always either been in a drop box or by mail. In Washington State, where I am today, it's 100% by mail. Or you just take it to a drop box because you don't want to pay for the postage. And it works great. Lower voter fraud than many states that don't allow mail-in ballots.
Gee, I didn't do too well with that particular box. No private money pouring into local election offices organized by billionaire CEOs. I wonder who we're talking about. And we must ensure that every election can be fully and quickly audited. And you have to look at the movie that's coming out this week, Dinesh D'Souza. Watch it.
Not IDK. Good trolling. I appreciate that. Very nice.
They have everything on tape. They have a big portion of what went on tape. There are many different things. They cheated on many different levels and many different ways. But look at this Dinesh D'Souza movie, and they have it on tape, and they have it on ping.
Do they? They have it on tape, and they have it on ping? Do they? They have. Did he just say they have it on ping? Just in case there's something called ping now that I haven't heard of, I'm not going to make fun of it. Somebody check that out.
Dinesh D'Souza movie, and they have it on tape. And
it is not on tape.
They have it on ping. They have it all over the place.
Wait, what? What they have? What is that? Come on, that can't be a thing. Is ping a thing? I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a thing.
Place. It's ballot harvesting at a level that nobody ever thought.
They have it on ping, like the golf clubs.
Possible. Totally illegal, by the way. And another one, Citizens United, David Bossie. I just saw that one, and that is brutal in terms of cheating, in terms of people pouring. You know, if you spend more than $5,600 on an election, they put you in jail. They have very strict rules. 5,000.
Yeah, because if you send somebody else with the money and they represent it as their money, that's called a straw man. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that.
$1,600. This guy Zuckerberg spent $417 million. And it was corrupt as hell. But you have to see those two movies, and David Bossie did an incredible job, Citizens United, and Dinesh. This Dinesh movie is going to blow
ping apart
your socks off. Now, here's the bad news. The fake news won't even report it. They won't report it. They won't report it. They won't talk about it. That's why they're called the fake news, and that's why they have now a lower approval rating than Congress. Can you believe that?
Marcy just texted me, there's something called the Ping One Cloud platform. One identity platform, any user journey. I don't, maybe? Design seamless user journeys by integrating all your chosen identity vendors with workflows. I don't think that's what he meant. I don't think Dinesh is on the Ping identity.
A lower approval rating than...
What?
Believe that.
A
lower approval rating than...
I hate it when my approval rating is lowery.
Well, these guys, this group of congressmen, they're way up there. You're so far up. The ultimate goal would be same-day elections using paper ballots with mail-in ballots. Only the military can use mail-in ballots, or those who are very sick or ill.
And it will take weeks to count the 145 million people who vote in the United States. And we won't know who the president is until possibly after Inauguration Day. Therefore, I, Donald Trump, am still president.
And who can't vote in person. So if you're very sick...
Hi, Shat.
And you can't vote, good. And if you're in the military, you're in a far away...
If you can't vote, good.
...away place or port, good. And that's it. And wouldn't it be nice to have same day like we do? We could do that easily. Same day elections.
Or just make it easy to vote like the people of the United States have the right to do.
So that you go like we used to have, you know, when elections were much more honest.
There's never been just one-day voting in this country, at least not since the modern era.
Instead of sitting around for 48 days, we have boxes stored in that storage room. Oh, really? Who's watching it? Why is it a lock on the door? Why are people moving things in and out? No, we need same day and we need paper ballots. We could have honest elections so easily.
We have paper ballots. Every single ballot. So 95% of the ballots in the United States are paper ballots. Every single ballot in the disputed states that he and the Attorney General of Texas sued for, every single ballot is a paper ballot. Every single one of them.
When California sends out tens of millions of mail-in ballots,
Yeah.
Nobody knows where the hell they're going, who's getting them.
Well, the voters.
And how many people here have had friends who received
I've had friends.
More than one ballot. Yeah. I know so many people.
And did they vote twice? Because if they did, that's illegal.
So my record so far is 7, but I heard it goes higher. Some people received 7, but it goes higher than that from what I understand. We're just...
Okay. Well, it's what you don't understand there, but okay.
7 months away from the most important midterm victory in American history, and we need a landslide so big that the radical left cannot rig it or steal it. By the way, I endorsed another person today, Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz. Great guy, good man, Harvard educated, tremendous career, and they liked him for a long time. That's like a poll. You know, when you're in television for 18 years, that's like a poll. That means people like you, but he's a great guy. This is the year we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate, and we're going to take back America. And in 2024, most importantly, we are going to take back our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful White House.
Are you announcing, sir?
I like those people behind me. I don't know who the hell they are. You know, I always say, those people may have lousy seats and you may have great seats, but they're going to be much more famous than you are tomorrow. They'll be called in. Some of them will be called in because they're so attractive. They'll be called into Hollywood tomorrow.
They will not.
With a Republican Congress, we will
Remember, liberal Hollywood, Will Smith, that they're not going to be called in.
fight for more jobs for North Carolina families, fair trade for North Carolina workers, and more North Carolina factories forging more products with stamped. And you know what? That beautiful phrase is made in the USA. We're using it more and more. We will shut down Joe Biden's border disaster, institute remain in Mexico, reimpose Title 42, strengthen ICE.
They can't reimpose Title 42. It's a CDC. It's a health measure. The CDC has to do that.
These are great heroes, and Border Patrol, those are great heroes. They're courageous people. You know, they go into these nests. You know what a nest is? Sheriff, you know what a nest is. They have a nest, and it's MS-13. These are tough people. They like knives because they like cutting people instead of shooting people because it's more painful and it takes longer. Sheriff knows. And it's a horrible thing. And these ICE people, I tell you, I know a couple of people in the front row, you're really tough. You don't want this job. They go into a nest, they run into a nest, and they start fighting it out, and then they grab them and they throw them, they bring them back to their country. And their countries didn't take them under Obama. And so we were stuck with them. And I heard that. My first week, they said, sir, we can't bring them back to Guatemala. We can't bring them back to Honduras. We can't bring them back, sir, to El Salvador. They won't take them. I said, how much money does the United States give them? Sir, we give them $778 million a year. I said, call them and
380.
Tell them we're not paying them anymore until they take the people back. Sure. And then the next day, Sheriff, I got a call from the 3 presidents separately. Sir, why aren't you paying us the money? Because you won't take them back. But, sir, we'd love to take back MS-13. We think they're fine people.
That would be just one of them saying that because the MS-13 is associated with El Salvador. Guatemala would be like, wait, what? Why? Why?
We would love to take them back, and we had no problem after that, you know?
Yeah, there was no gang violence under Trump. It never happened. Murders didn't increase. MS-13 was not an issue. You know, reality just never happened under Trump.
Still haven't paid them, by the way. You know, it's very interesting. And Biden just announced that instead of $778 million, they want to pay $4 billion to these countries, $4 billion. You know who's going to get that? The drug lords.
Oh, yeah.
The politicians.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are going to get that, Sheriff. No good.
I have not heard about $4 billion for the triangle, but okay.
But
all three Mexicos? Like $4 billion apiece?
we got them all back. We got them thousands. I just want to take a lot of, we got to give them a great hand to ICE, to Border Patrol, and to law enforcement. You know, I see a person in the audience that I didn't know she was here. She comes from a slightly warmer climate. Carrie Lake. She's going to be the next governor of Arizona. So nice that you're here. I didn't know you were here, Carrie. Wow.
She came, she was sort of the guest host on RSBN.
Oh, they all love Carrie. Everyone knows. Carrie's got a massive lead in Arizona. She was their anchor for 22 years in Arizona, and she saw the way things were running, and she wasn't happy. They have a lousy governor in Arizona, really lousy. Happens to be Republican. He's still lousy. They wanted him to run for the Senate. I said, well, I'll never endorse him, I can tell you, so he took a pass. But Carrie Lake is fantastic, and I heard your poll numbers are through the roof. I think they're kind of like Ted Budd's poll numbers. They're quite up there, right? So let's have a contest. Who does better, you or Ted Budd? But Carrie Lake has done fantastically. She's going to be a great governor. We will again end catch and release. We will end chain migration. We will end the visa lottery. And
again, he had power for 4 years. Didn't end any of these things he's talking about. Could have done it. Didn't.
We will, in a few weeks, finish the wall. It takes 3 weeks to finish it. We will
completely ineffective. You're saying there's record migration right now? Well, illegal immigration? The wall is there. What you built is there. If it was effective at all, it would be stopping some of this. It's not.
We'll stop the Biden crime wave in Democrat-run cities. We will give our police, we love our police, their power back. And let them do what they do better than anybody else. And we're going to give them also something else. We're going to give the police their respect back. And we will restore law and order again in America. We will hold China accountable for unleashing the virus upon the world. We will create a military so powerful, I've sort of already done this, that no one, don't forget.
Then why is it in the speech, idiot?
Get $2.5 trillion, and you know we have a nuclear
No, MS-13 started in Los Angeles, and they're associated with El Salvador,
force that I rebuilt along with the military. And I hate even talking about it, but we have the most powerful nuclear force. We had weapons that were 48 years old. Nobody even knew if they work. We've refurbished and rebuilt and brand new in many cases our nuclear capability. So we don't like talking about it. And honestly, Putin shouldn't be talking about it, shouldn't be talking about it. And if they do talk about it, we have to have somebody that knows how to talk back, not to say, oh, they're our nuclear force.
What?
We will lead humanity back to the moon.
Hey, you're completely wrong.
And the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. That's happening very quickly. We will protect innocent life. We will defend our Constitution. We will defend the
And we will make America safe again. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. I got TV to watch.
Second Amendment, and we will proudly uphold
and we will order butter chicken from Saffron Grill. Me, specifically. I will order that. And Rusty. Rusty, you want some Saffron Grill? I don't know if you're allowed to eat Indian food. I don't care. There's not going to be any leftovers. He can lick the plate. Or, better yet, just lick my ass, dog. He can't have Indian.
Judeo-Christian values and principles of.
By the way, if you're ever in Seattle, check out the Saffron Grill. It's by Northgate Mall, and it is delish. The secret to the butter chicken, don't tell anyone. It's margarine. It's not butter.
Our nation's founding.
I know, right? That makes no sense. But we're doing a Trump rally, so who cares about logic? Oh no, Rusty's on a prescription diet right now to diagnose his itching. Well, I don't know that. Right, Rust? Yeah. Check it out. Where's Rusty? Rusty is in the Rusty Bed Studios right now. Where's that random? Somewhere else. Somewhere else. He doesn't care. He's right here. Look at this. Look at this. I show up at the house, and he's lying right there. That's a good boy. Yeah. We're getting Indian. Oh yeah, there's a Trump thing going.
We will restore patriotic education to our schools, and we will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We love our great American flag. We love that flag.
When I did that, Rusty looked up. What the hell?
And we will not, by the way, have men participating in women's sports.
Well, that's the big issue. Right there. That's what the midterms are all about.
Did you see the swimming record? It was up for 11 years, and a great young woman. No, there's a great young woman. She's been working so hard, and she thought she could beat it by 1/8 of 1 second. And then this guy comes along and beats it by 38 seconds.
No, he didn't set the record by 38 seconds, and it's a she. Okay, so this is a person who was born male, has transitioned to female, did not beat the record by 38 seconds. Just beat the person who finished in second place by 38 seconds, not the record.
But the best is the weightlifting, right? It stood for 18 years, a record. And, you know, they'd put like a 1/4 ounce on each side, and the woman got up.
It's all done in kilograms, by the way.
Oh! And then this guy comes along. Ding, ding, ding. And he never lifted weights before, right?
What?
No, that's so good. That's so ridiculous. I mean, and you know, people are afraid to talk. I'm talking about it because I talk about it. I talk common sense.
I talk about it because I talk about it. In other words, I talk about it.
People, you have to talk about it.
Do
you know,
ya?
even the teammates, they don't want to do it. They think it's politically incorrect to talk about it. There's nothing politically incorrect about it. It's going to destroy women's sports.
Wait, so politically incorrect is a good thing now?
I mean, if I'm a basketball coach, I guarantee I'm going to have a great team. But you know why? Because I'm not going to say it, because that would be politically incorrect. I'd say, isn't that terrible? You can't let this happen. You can't.
No, you could say it, because you could say I would have nothing but trans athletes on my team, and that would make me a better team. That's the opposite of politically correct, sir. What you're doing... Forget it. Choking on a peanut.
Can't let it happen to women's sports. It's very...
Oh, Rusty heard me choking, and he's all like, I'll help. I'll help choke you. Rusty, come up here. Come up here. Yeah, get up here. Yeah, up here. Come here. Up. There he is. There's the Rusters. Yeah, getting all tangled into headphones. Look at the people. Look at me. Over here. Look. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Yeah, you're so good. Anyway, back to Trump.
Very unfair to women. Don't let it happen. In conclusion, our MAGA movement is by far the greatest political movement in the history of our country.
Besides suffragette.
And nobody can say otherwise.
And
even
abolition.
the fake news can't say anything different.
I mean, the Civil War and the end of slavery and women's right to vote, but also Trump, because he won one time. I mean, he didn't win the actual number of votes, but he won some electoral guys.
Together we are standing up against some of the most sinister forces, entrenched interests,
You said in conclusion.
and vicious opponents our people have ever witnessed or seen. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, You must never forget
What?
this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
It belongs to all Americans.
This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right. This state, this is a great state, was forged by some of the toughest men and some of the strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. Our American ancestors were backcountry farmers, woodsmen, and craftsmen who poured their love into this land with their families and all of their friends. Incredible what they've done. And they were bold pioneers and frontier settlers who climbed the mountains, tamed the wilderness, and kept on pushing west, west, west. And above all, they were proud citizens, fiercely independent North Carolina men and women who blazed their own trail and took orders from nobody. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We're not going to let our country be destroyed by lunatics. We are going to fight for America like no one has ever fought before. We will not let radical left people.
I mean, there was the Civil War. So I suppose your way of fighting, which is avoiding going to the ballot box for some reason, avoiding early voting, avoiding absentee ballots, avoiding all of that. That is one way that someone has fought for the country that no one has ever fought with before.
That don't love our country, or rhinos. We have bad rhinos too. We have some sick, stupid, weak people take away from us what has been so brilliantly forged over nearly 250 years.
Was that at the fort where they had the fort? Where everybody fought for it? Is that what you fought?
There is no mountain we cannot climb.
I think I just heard him fort.
There is no summit we cannot reach.
Yeah.
There is no challenge we cannot meet.
All right.
There is no victory we cannot have.
Yeah. Except the presidency. But move on.
We will not bend.
Okay.
We will not break.
Yeah.
We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down,
surrender.
North Carolina.
I was really hoping it would be Galaxy Quest. Make America strong.
As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand even a little chance. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone.
Okay.
My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun, and it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. Greatness. We don't talk about greatness anymore. You never hear the word greatness. We talk about the environment, and we all want a clean environment. We talk about race, and we want great race relations. We talk about many other things, but we never talk about greatness for our country. We want to make our country great again. Right now, our country's a laughingstock all over the world. They don't even return the phone calls of our president. We've never been in a position like this. Our country has never been scorned the way it is or disrespected. We're going to change it because we are one movement, one people.
The world has never been more united with America right now against Russia. And Joe Biden is leading that effort. The European countries are starting to forego their energy needs.
One family and one glorious American nation.
Yeah.
And so with the help of everyone here today and citizens all across our land, we will make America powerful again.
Yeah, bringing it
We
home.
will make America wealthy again.
Wealthy again, sure.
We will
Strong.
make America strong again.
Say it. How about wealthy?
We will make
Powerful.
America proud
Proud
again.
again. Say Go
we
safe.
will make
America's
America
safe.
safe again.
Yes, and we will
make
make
America great again.
Cue the
Thank
gay
you, North
guys.
Carolina. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
Oh, no, it's not that song. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. I'm going to do it anyway. YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. That's how you dance the YMCA. All right, that's it. Good. I can get some Indian food. What time is it? 5:30. Oh God, it feels like 9:30 at night. The goddamn time change, Seattle. Well, I hope it's been pleasurable for everyone here. I have to say, of all the broadcasts I have ever done, I think it is this one of which I am most proud. And I'm going to hang out with a dog. So you guys all have a wonderful night. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We'll try and broadcast. I'm up in Seattle for a few days. I'll try and broadcast as much as I possibly can. Well, no, I probably won't do that. But one way or the other, be good to yourself, be good to others, and most importantly, be good to dogs. Rusty, say goodbye. Rusty, can they even see you? Where are you? There you are. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Yes, you're good. Who's a gooders? Everyone is a gooders. Everyone is a gooders.